Mr. Harcus.
Good afternoon, Senators. Good afternoon, Minnesota. My name is Marcus Harcus. I'm the Executive Director of the Minnesota Campaign for Full Legalization. We're a nonprofit cannabis legalization advocacy organization with the mission to end marijuana prohibition, to establish a fully legalized adult personal use cannabis industry, home growing rights, and to repair the victims of unjust prohibition laws. Prohibition is the problem, it's not cannabis. We're here today representing more than 500,000 adult Minnesotan cannabis consumers and the nearly 10,000 Minnesotans arrested and countless thousands harassed each year over this healing plant. This morning, I myself smoked some high-grade, high-potency cannabis. And not only am I still alive, but I'm thriving partially because of it. I'm a responsible, peaceful 40-year-old family man, writer, organizer, social entrepreneur, and social justice warrior from North Minneapolis. I began smoking cannabis almost daily since I was 20 years old for personal, spiritual, and social use because it's good for relaxation. It helps relieve pain, physical, mental, and emotional, and it helps people sleep well. Cannabis also enhances my enjoyment of many positive life experiences, and having fun should not be illegal if you're harming no one. As a young black man, I've been pulled over 65 times in my life. I'm 40 years old, and 50 of these incidents were due to racial profiling, most of it occurring in my teens and 20s. Cannabis has helped me to overcome post-traumatic stress from experiencing this excessive racial profiling here in Minnesota, and a couple of incidents of police brutality, including one incident where a woman friend and I were caught smoking by the Mississippi River by a U of M cop who detained me and sadistically searched my vehicle and my person for nearly 2 hours, verbally, emotionally abusing me, and sexually assaulting me by repeatedly grabbing my crotch. You know, this senseless, humiliating violation of my human rights traumatized me, and it represents an example of how police commonly use prohibition as a tool to waste law enforcement resources, harassing and criminalizing people who are not posing any public safety threats. If you please allow me to finish, I just have like 90 seconds, 2 minutes.
Well, I'll warn you to finish it up quickly.
All right, please.
We've got a lot of people.
This is the People's House. We represent 500,000 people, who most of them are afraid to talk to you. Cannabis is a healing plant. It's not a crime. Contrary to the anti-legalization propaganda you've heard, cannabis is not a dangerous killer drug, nor is it a so-called gateway drug. The federal government has been lying about cannabis since Prohibition was enacted in 1937, and they've been lying even more since the Richard Nixon created the Controlled Substance Act in 1971. We're not here to defend cannabis because any intelligent adult who wants to know can easily learn that cannabis is a natural alternative medicine that human beings have used for thousands of years without a single fatal overdose. In fact, the most dangerous thing about cannabis is getting caught with it by the police, because you can lose your freedom, you can lose your job, you can lose your housing, you can lose your children, and worse. Philando Castile was killed by a cop because he smelled like cannabis, even though he was doing nothing wrong except driving while black, which also needs to be legalized. Most cannabis consumers live in fear of being criminalized because of cannabis prohibition, and this fear over a nonviolent, victimless farce of a so-called crime is oppressive. Prohibition is oppressive. We're here today to ask you to end these unjust prohibition laws, to set aside your personal bias, to overcome your cognitive dissonance, to stop being willfully ignorant, if that applies to you, and to join us in standing on the right side of history. You don't have to be pro-cannabis to be opposed to its failed prohibition.
Mr. Harcus, you're going to have to end it. Otherwise, I'm going to have to scratch off people that are proponents.
I understand that.
Please.
There's just a lot of people counting on this.
Yeah, but you're now up to almost 4 minutes, and you were given
well,
2.
I just want to close with this. Each one of you are 201 people with the power to end these unjust laws. And there's 500,000 people and more counting on you to do that now. We don't want to wait to live free. Prohibition is the problem, and it's not cannabis. Full legalization is the only solution. Thank you for your time.
Thank you, Mr. Harcus.